You're Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching the brand new documentary that was just released on Netflix called Untold, The Rise and Fall of AND1. And I would definitely want to check out more of this series because they had one of the Malice in the Palace, and they have a couple other ones that I kind of want to take a look at. But here we're going to talk about the rise and fall of AND1. And if you grew up in the 90s or even in the early 2000s and you played basketball or you were just in that space, you know about AND1 and how popular it was. And it's really interesting to kind of see how things kind of kicked off and, you know, not really knowing who was pulling the strings behind the scenes, but you can kind of see while watching this documentary why AND1 didn't last as long as it did, and why it's just, another name brand that you see if you're walking in Walmart or something like that, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So this whole venture was started by this dude named Seth and Tom, two white guys. Obviously they both had degrees and stuff like that, but they ended up wanting to get into doing their own type of business. They didn't want to work for corporate. It was just a little sad story, whatever. It's just like, I honestly, that's one of my gripes of this documentary. I was thinking that we're going to get more of like the player's perspective, but they don't really touch on that in depth how I thought they would. They kind of talk about like hot sauce and like professor, how those were like the biggest kind of standouts at the time. But like I said, they start off just kind of showing you how they got started with the business and whatnot, and the whole Stephon Marbury thing, where he was kind of like the first athlete to pretty much rock one of their shoes, but he ended up like kind of fucking up his leg or his ankle or something like that. So that was kind of a hit to them. And then around 95, that's when they really started to kind of like boom. Whenever, I think they said whenever the lockdown happened, that's when they kind of took advantage of that, and that's where AND1 kind of exploded. But obviously they didn't really find this talent on their own. They found the talent through like their interns, which I don't know why they didn't mention the names. I feel like they deserve credit, but that's how everything kind of got launched. They saw how big it was in New York, and then they started doing city tours and stuff like that, and it just started getting even bigger and bigger and bigger, like to the point where they were rivaling like Nike at one point. And they even talk about that infamous commercial of like, you saw them kind of make fun of it in Scary Movie 2. It's just where they kind of mock AND1 in a way. And it was kind of crazy to kind of see that's how popular it was at its peak. Like them early 2000s, and they had the video games and stuff like that. They got to kind of travel internationally. It was really cool, like when you saw the experience and stuff. But obviously, whenever you have like a multi-million-dollar company like that, you're always wondering yourself, like, why are these people only getting paid like thousands here? You know what I'm saying? A few thousand here. People was not getting paid, man. And that lets me know that these two guys that made AND1 were just looking for a quick buck, because they didn't really nurture their product. They just kind of misused their stars, their talent. The AND1 could have definitely still been around, and you definitely see hints of that when you see current players. They make note of that current players now kind of use that style in the NBA now and stuff. Not as too crazy as people were doing it, but this was a really nostalgic documentary for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up playing basketball for a good majority of my life, like I would say a third of my life, like for 10 years straight. So that was a big part of it. You know what I'm saying? I remember even seeing one of their shows, like going to like one of the mixtape tours and stuff like that when they had it. I think it was in somewhere in Jersey. I forget exactly. That was a really dope experience. I remember being like probably the third or second row in front. And I think that was just right when AND1 it was kind of starting to fizzle out. It was right around like 04, 05. That's when they started to fizzle out. People started getting kind of like iffy with the money, and they wasn't paying people. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point where like AND1 just hit a ceiling. But, the people at top just didn't really care about the people that really got them there. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really take care of them. They just like gave them like pizza and a whole bunch of stuff that like, why would you eat that before a game or after a game? Like, come on, man. That's just wild. But it's dope to kind of just see things that I didn't notice. Like, I didn't notice, even though I've watched the dunk contest with Vince Carter when he first kind of showed up. I didn't know he was rocking like some AND1s, so that was pretty big for them. Like, they really go through like the highlights and the downs and just but overall I definitely think that they ended it pretty well because everybody kind of was able to kind of figure out their own lane. So I just definitely think that with this documentary only being like an hour and like 9 minutes, it felt kind of short. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see more of the players' perspective and less of the owners and stuff. Honestly, you got to see where it started from, but it just felt like it focused a little bit too much on of them in the beginning. And it was cool to see the rise. It was cool to see the rise, but just you just see the fall, and it's just like, damn, if they would have just really gave a shit and really took their talent serious, and one could have still been something to this day. But like I said, it is what it is. I still like it for the memories. It just makes me feel nostalgic when watching this, seeing Hot Sauce, seeing Main Event, seeing AO, and seeing like the Professor, seeing like Skip to Malou, seeing a lot of like players that were like my favorite players. So let me know in the comments below, who are some of your favorite AND1 players. I liked Hot Sauce, you know what I'm saying? I liked even, AO, half man, half amazing. They had so many like different characters on that team that it's just like, damn, it sucks to see it like kind of fall apart like that. And they all got kind of done dirty. But like I said, at the end, everybody kind of figure out their own lane, and you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But if you've seen this documentary, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you feel like this documentary was justified, or do you think it should have been a little bit longer? Or are you like me? Do you think you wish they focused more on the actual players than all the other stuff and whatnot? Because it does feel like it's a bit rushed in some cases, will only be an hour. So to cram all that in like 10 years or 10 plus years of just information, it just, I guess, is the best that we got. But let me know how you guys feel about it. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.